Hi there, I've got my new design here, which I still haven't named, but by the time you see this, I will have named it. And I am going to make a video today to show you how I work this style of rib onto the bottom of the garment. So I've done one cuff and the hem rib, and I'm going to do this cuff to show you how I work it. Just realised that my nails match. That's made me really happy. So we're going to take this sleeve and just going to quickly show you. You can see that I have floated all my different colours yarns up the inside, so I've only got one lot of ends which I haven't woven in yet. So I'm just going to tuck that one behind there, and I've cut all the colours off except for my rib colour. So I've got my rib colour remaining, as that's the colour that I am going to be working with now. And I'm going to work into this first stitch here after the slip stitch. So you're going to yarn over your hook and hold your hook roughly at a sort of double crochet stitch height away. So I'm holding it at roughly the height of a UK double crochet stitch, a US single crochet. And that's because we're not going to chain one or anything, we're just going to work our double crochet stitch straight into the back loop only of that first stitch. Okay, so we're going to work into the back loop of this first stitch. Okay, make sure you're not pulling it too tight because you don't want it to pucker at the back. I've actually used this grey 2 rows away, so I haven't got that far to float my yarn, but just make sure you're not pulling it too tight. Okay, so go into the back loop of that first stitch. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull up, yarn over and pull through 2. That's your first double crochet stitch. Then you're going to go into the back loop of the next stitch. So into the back loop, yarn over, pull up, yarn over and pull through 2. Into the back loop, yarn over, through and pull through 2. And then you're just going to continue to work UK double crochets, US single crochets all the way around your cuff or your hem, whichever part you're on, until you get back to the start. So we're now back to the start. I'm just going to work my last double crochet stitch, and you're going to ignore the slip stitch and you're going to go under both loops of the first double crochet stitch, yarn over and pull through and pull through. So that's a slip stitch to join. Now I'm going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I've chained 6 and now you're going to turn your work sideways to work your rib, because your rib is going to be worked like that. Okay, so now we're going to double crochet or single crochet, if you're following US terms, into the second chain from the hook. So not this one here, but this one here. I appreciate that it's black and it's hard to see. I'm sorry about that. So we're going to double crochet into the second chain from the hook and in each chain to the end. We chained 6, we missed 1 chain because we worked into the second chain from the hook, so we will have 5 double crochets at the end of this row. So just check you've got 5 sets of loops on the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then you are going to anchor your rib to the cuff or the hem, whichever bit you're working on. So to do that, you're going to ignore this first double crochet that you slip stitched into when you joined at the end of your round, and you're going to go under the back loop of the next double crochet stitch, yarn over, pull through and pull through, and then again, so under the back loop of the next double crochet stitch, so yarn over, pull through and pull through. And what you've done is you've now anchored your row to the end. I know it looks a bit holy, but it will settle down. It kind of does sort of pull back in. It's just because you're stretching those stitches out at the moment. If you really don't like it, you can go under both loops. When you anchor it, you can go under both. It's not going to make a massive amount of difference. You just don't have that ridge because you don't have that first loop showing. So it's completely up to you. That's just how I do it. So now you're going to turn and you're going to work back in the other direction, so back to the end of your row. So ignore those 2 slip stitches you just did, so miss those, and you're going to work 5 double crochets into the remainder of your row. So if you're not sure which ones to work into because you can't work out which ones your slip stitches are, just count back from the end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I know that's my first one, So I'm going to insert my hook into the back loop only, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through 2. So just continue to double crochet into the back loop only of each stitch in your row, and then you're going to chain 1 and turn, or turn, chain 1, and do exactly the same again. So you're going to, the chain 1 doesn't count, so you're going to go into the back loop only of the first stitch, double crochet into the back loop, double crochet, and make sure that you've done 5. I tend to count out loud when I'm doing these and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because sometimes it's easy to get carried away and not do enough. Then you notice your rib is kind of getting smaller, and then so you can see you've worked into that one there. So it's that one and that one that we are going to be anchoring. So under the back loop, yarn over, pull through and pull through into the next one, under the back loop, yarn over, pull through and pull through, and then you're going to turn and miss the 2 slip stitches you just made, double crochet into those, and then continue to repeat row 2 and row 3 until you've got all the way around your rib. Okay, so I'm just coming to the end of my rib, and I've just got 2 stitches here to slip stitched across to anchor this row. If you've only got 1 stitch remaining here, don't worry, just slip stitch across the 1 stitch. So I'm just going to go in, yarn over and pull through to anchor it to those last 2 stitches, and then I'm going to turn and then work my last 5, oops, sorry, it's falling off my lap, last 5 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then don't chain 1 but do turn. So turn, and now you're going to slip stitch these 2 together to form a seam to join up your rib. So just pull up a long loop, and you can turn the whole thing inside out, but I just like to turn it a little bit inside out. And then I'm going to be working this way because we want to work right to left, and my loop is on that side, so I'm just going to make my loop a bit smaller. You might find that your loop's on this side. I'm going to put my hook into the first chain. So this is my chain, this is my last row of stitches. Put my hook into the first chain, and I'm just going to bring that loop through to this side because I can't work with it on that side. Okay, so that is basically my first one sort of joined together. Now what I'm going to do is put my hook into the second chain and the second stitch, which is there. I'm going to go under both loops. You could just go under the back loop if you want to get that extra ridge. So under the 2 loops, yarn over, pull through and pull through the loop on your hook into the next chain and the next stitch under both legs, yarn over, pull through and pull through. I think that's 3, so under the next chain, under the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then under the last one, so the last chain, oops, and the last stitch, and pull through and pull through. Okay, and I haven't got my scissors to hand, so I'm just going to snip there and pull it through there, and just make sure that that looks okay, and then fasten off.